All right, so today I'm actually going to show you how to make that's my dog, make a pack like I make mine, which essentially we're going to first start off with making something like this. I'm going to use a copper bar. Uh, all of them look like this. They're kind of gross right now, but what we're going to do first is just kind of sand this down. And eventually, if you looked at my last videos, you will see how it actually comes out. But yeah, let me start by sanding this. And what I figured I can do is I can stop and just do some slow-mos so I can kind of quickly get through it. But you'll also need some 8-gauge solid bare copper wire. This is what's going to actually connect to the bar, and then eventually, like I showed you before, you'll have something like this. And I will show you how to make one of these as well, with all the solder joints connected right here. So yeah, so eventually it'll just look like this, and then we bend it, and we'll get through all that in a bit. But yeah, let me go ahead and first get started by just sanding down the copper bar. Usually what I would do here is this would come in about a 72-inch bar. It's huge, and I would just go about 7 inches or 7 1/4 and just kind of cut it with a saw. And yeah, and that would be the bus bars for each pack. So positive, negative, so there's 60 of these total for my pack. But yeah, let me get to sanding it, get it right, and then we will cut some cable, and then I will show you how to solder it on here. You're gonna drill a 5/16 inch hole right in the center. So when you got something like this, you'll notice that the bar actually fits from the very top of the last one, because if you remember from the last video, these two cells on the one bar connect to that. So you're gonna have one here, you're gonna have one here, and then you're gonna skip one, and you're gonna have one here, and you're gonna, one here, and then one here. So kind of like, I can't really do it, but yeah. So you want your bar to go pretty much across the whole thing. The reason I don't do the whole thing is because, or like have it where it's got a couple more inches, is because I don't like it touching the ground or getting anywhere near the ground. So I kind of keep it right here. So that's why I get it at that angle. You'll pencil mark just a line, and I'll do that when it's clean, just to indicate where the bars will lie. But I will go ahead and get started. What I'm gonna do is sand here, and I'll come back and show you how to cut it. All right. All right, so as you can see, I've just sanded this down. You saw how, I mean, it was even green. What happened was these bars were left in my garage for a while, and I mean, they weren't rained on or anything like that, but just being around that'll change color. That's one of the reasons I'm trying to find not a way, but just I want to be able to heat shrink these down after the bars are on it. That way it kind of stays clean. But after we have this, we're gonna go ahead and take this outside, and I will be torching, or well, soldering really, the copper bars on here. But first, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the 8-gauge solid copper wire I was talking about. And this is 25 feet, but I had to build so many. Honestly, it's 50 feet. And you're gonna need quite a few of them if you build what I build. The price and all this cons, it kind of sneaks up on you. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut 4, because you're gonna have one going here. Again, if I just show you real quick, you're gonna have 4 cables. You're gonna have one going here, one going here. You'll have a separate cable going here, but not touching the bar, because in the middle there'll be a hole. And then you'll have another one, what's this, coming here, and the last one on the edge there. So it's 4, oops, sorry. So there's 4 total. The one would go here, and one would go there. All right, so you have to cut these out a little longer than what these are. I like to have a little extra room. So what I'm gonna do is just measure, put this away, 21.5 inches. And you're just gonna basically get this cable and just kind of straighten it as best you can. I mean, you can't really get it perfectly straight, but I'll kind of show you the remedy I have for that. But again, all this is going to be done on a TV tray. I don't have a power tools. I don't have an awesome desk. I literally built everything on a coffee table. So those are the resources I have, and that's what I'm going to use. So you can see I kind of like line it up as best I can, because we're going for 21.5 inches. Once I get here, I don't know if I'll be able to mute this, but I kind of just, excuse the incredibly rusty hammer. This thing is old as all hell. Again, I don't have power tools, so this is just a hammer I think I grabbed from my parents' house that was in the garage sitting in an ugly drawer. So I kind of just straighten it out as best I can. You know, it's not going to be perfect, but just to get it somewhat nice. So you can see my finger kind of on the bottom left corner of your screen. There's my thumb. You get it to about 1 inch, and you want to get it to about 20.5. So you kind of just line it across like this. And then once you get it straight enough, because remember, this is very bendable. So once you get it pretty straight, you're okay from that point on. So you measure it out to 21.5 inches, just like this. You grab it on one side, kind of just put your finger there, like so. So that's where the cable would be. Grab your little snippies. And I don't like to just break it, like where this goes flying. So I kind of just squeeze a little there, squeeze a little on that end, and then it comes right off. And you're gonna do this 4 times. This is 21.5 inches. You're gonna do this 4 times. That way you get the bar basically line up like this. And what you'll do is, after we get the heat going, we will be soldering right onto it. So probably should have been careful with that. But yeah, so we'll have 4 bars going across. So yeah, let's go outside. I'm gonna drill a hole in this, but I might not be able to film it. The only reason why is because I don't think I can get the angle to drill in it, but if I can, I'll figure it out. It's only me, so I'm gonna be using, like, this is basically just leveled above me and filming down, so I'll see what I can do, but the drilling is going straight down, so you might not be able to see it, but I will try to get it to work. But again, we're gonna make 4 of these, and I'll do this in, actually I might not have enough to make 4, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take what I have, because I have a few of these already made. I'm gonna take this outside, and we will now torch and solder the wire onto the bar. All right, stay tuned. All right, so now we're outside. We have the bar that we just sanded down. So basically what we're gonna do here is, like I said, we're gonna line it up with each line that you're gonna go at. So I'm gonna make a mark basically right here, right here. I'm gonna put a center hole like right here, and then I'm gonna put a line here and here, or excuse me, here and here. That way we can just know exactly where the bars are gonna go. So I'll quickly do that real quick. Doesn't gotta be fancy, you can just do it real quick. Just a center dot. 2 more. Up there. Okay, so it's gonna look something like that. All right, and then you're kind of done with this. Then you're gonna place this here. Kind of clamp them both down. I don't have a drill press, so I'm just gonna use a drill, which I'm just realizing is not here, so I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, got my drill. My birthday's in 2 weeks. I'm really hoping to get the Ryobi that I've told or hinted that I want. So basically I'm gonna start a starter hole where I drew those lines. So I did clamp it down, but I clamped it down backwards. There we go. All right. So right where that little mark is that you made in the middle, just kind of start it off. from there, I'm using a 5/16. And from there you do the rest. I am doing this on a TV tray and not a sturdier table, so this might have been a bad idea, but we'll find out. Oh, the drill's gonna die. That's great. All right. Good news is that worked. That's essentially what you want to do. Don't do this, just use sandpaper. But that's the hole you drill, and then just kind of clean it up on both sides with some sandpaper and your little, what do you call it, little snippies, and you'll get that nice and clean. I'm gonna go off camera and do that real quick though. All right, I didn't really mean I'd go off camera, my bad. I just meant I had to go get my snips. So just gonna kind of pull this off where you can. And then just kind of sand it down for a minute. And that's good enough for now. You can kind of clean it up later as well. All right, so from that point, you have to sweep all this because copper chips go everywhere. All right, so now you're gonna kind of lay this down. You have your 4 marks still. And now these are the ones that we cut earlier to 21.5 inches. And what we're gonna do is actually, let me try to get a better angle so that you can kind of be over it. All right, okay. So here is what you're gonna wanna do. We have, again, the bars that we made. I did wait a few days, so I did re-sand them, just because from experience, it seems to help with it connecting to the bar. So what I normally do here is I use this flux right here. Go ahead and open that up. I accidentally did leave it out in the sun, so it might be a little weird. And just get a Q-tip. And then you're gonna use this solder right here. Okay. All right, and then just gonna kind of get this going so it's ready to go. All right. And then from here, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna start heating it up. I'm trying to make sure I have everything ready, maybe get a little bit ready here. Honestly, don't think you can overuse this. So just kind of lay a little bit on there. Get that out of the way. All right, and go ahead and heat it up. Actually, this is the torch I have and using. It's just a creme brulee torch, but I did notice that the temperature does get hot enough. I had to look it up, but it does get hot enough to actually work. So this is the one I'm using. I can put a link to it if anybody wants it or wants to know where I got it, but here we go. Man, apparently I'm nervous. All right, just put a little bit on here as well. All right, just kind of line up where that line is. I kind of heat up the whole bar, to be honest. And I count to about 30 just to get the bar hot. Kind of focus more on the top in the beginning just because it helps with that. Getting the heat to kind of be over there. Again, just from experience. What I did notice is you don't want to get the copper wire kind of dirty by heating it too much, because then it does take longer for it to stick. So that should be hot enough right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over this one more time. Put it up and it should just go right on. Just like that. Wait a second. And I do not have a towel. I'm just noticing that right now. God, I am not prepared. All right, I'm gonna pause it real quick, but I can't pick it up. Essentially here. So that's what it looks like. It'll look a lot cleaner once I clean it, but I'm gonna have to do that quickly before this sets. So I'm gonna try to put this back where it was. Doubt that's gonna work. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. This is a very old towel, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to clean it that well. But you wanna do it maybe like no more than 20 seconds after you've heated it, because everything will come right off. After that, you're gonna have to use like sandpaper or something, and that will help it just kind of clean it up. And I'm doing that because from experience, the last time I made these with my last build, these were disgusting. I barely cleaned them. I just wanted to get it done, and it didn't look great. But here's what it looks like. I think that's a pretty good job. And then what I'll do is I'll do one more, and then what I'll do is I'll fast forward through the last two. Just do like a time lapse. But you do want to make sure that this is kind of laying flat on the bar, like there's no real space. So kind of do the same thing. I was gone for a bit, so I'm going to heat it up again for a minute. Kind of get this ready. I remember now, you don't initially need to put a lot of this on here. It's just to kind of get it going. But when you actually lay it on there, that's when you're going to want to put a little more. All right, make sure you're lined up. And don't worry too much about like the angles and how it bends, because it's very bendable, so you'll eventually get it. All right. Right. Just kind of put more on. I'm trying to do this left-handed. And I can tell the torch is dying. And I can't do this twice, so this is as good as it's gonna get. It will eventually heat good enough. I just gotta wait. There it is. There we go. So, note to self, I was not very prepared for this video, and the reason I can only do one is because this is my last bar, so I can only really do one take. So I gotta wait for it to cool a bit. But as you can see, it kind of cleans off a lot easier if you give it a minute. And see how I can't clean that anymore? Yeah, so I'll have to sand the rest of that down. And the bar is very hot, so don't touch it, like I just did. All right, so that's how I do I think you kind of got the idea. I can't really move it. Those are pretty good. That one's a little messed up just because I did hurry it up. But that's pretty much how you do that. And then inside we'll go and bend it. We'll do all that. But for the rest of this part of it, I'm gonna go ahead and just fast forward through it or do a time lapse. That way it just gets done. And then I'll go back inside and we'll finish it up. All right, and now we are back in here. We have sanded and cleaned our bar. We have drilled the hole in here, so we now have one of these, which kind of look like Wolverine claws. But yeah, they're all soldered, sanded down, nice and shiny, as best as we can get it. All right, so this is basically the next step. What you do is you grab one of these 18650 spacers. Like I said before, this is going to be a 4x5, and there's 12 on each side, so 24 for a whole pack. And remember, this is just one side. Everything you do here, you're essentially just going to have to do twice. And if you want to keep the bottoms on the bottom so you can slide it a little easier in and out, what you're going to want to do is make sure that you're going the same way. So you see these jagged edges on the side, you're going to go this way on one of them, you're going to want to do the exact same way on the other. If you go the other way here, it's going to be off, where you're going to have one that's flat at the bottom, and then you're going to have one side that's not. So just make sure you are doing it that way. All right, so I think The ones I gotta build here all go this way. So what I did is I got some of these little bumpers. Let me see if I can find them here. Of course I can't. All right, well, they are right here, these little guys. These little bumpers, they are basically just what I use for the cases to hide the screws. But in this case, it kind of worked perfect because I lined this right up against that. I have two more on the other end to kind of just hold it down. And that way I can just kind of like lean it right here. But what you're gonna wanna do first is measure about 1 inch off the edge. And like I said, everything is done except for the torching and making the bus bars and the main bar. That was done outside on a table. But yeah, so you have this, you measure about 1 inch off of it. Right there, so it's about even. And what I normally do is I would just put my body on top of this, but because I can't really do that here, I am just gonna kind of eyeball it. And I'm just gonna kind of put a little pressure and hope it bends okay. So yeah, so it's about 1 inch on each side. See the little markings there and there. You wanna measure and mark it. So once you have that, you're just gonna bend it. Just like that. And you have, see, and to be very honest, this is not my best work. Normally I put my whole body on it. The inch would be a little better, but yeah, it will still work. So what we'll do is we'll come up here, again, putting this, now this will fall right on top and going across each one. And remember, we did cut one 19-inch copper wire. And as you'll see later, that falls right in the middle. All right, but that's not for now. So from this point, what we're gonna do is we're basically just gonna line it up against this, measure about as good as we can, but we've already cut from the heat shrink part some of these. These are 1.5 inches long, and you will need 4 of them. So just put them right up here. These will slide in. Yeah, they're a little flatter. Usually it goes up a little more, like up a little more and then curves. But again, I kind of did this one in a hurry. If you look at my pack when it's done, there's a bunch of them that look right, but you can definitely tell when I started making the packs and then when I actually started getting good at it. So this will be just kind of chalked up to like I was starting to do it. Like I wasn't really getting the hang of it yet, which is fine. So you would lay it kind of like this. So you can kind of see that as soon as you're up against it, it kind of levels flat. So what you're gonna do is just kind of hold it, get a torch that we use to do all the soldering, and you shrink it down. And remember to sand it before you do this as well. That way you kind of lock in the cleanness. You just go to one, and you go to the next one. Just kind of get it everywhere. All right. It's just about done. You can tell just by listing, this is almost out. And then as you can see, it kind of lays there, but this one's gonna stick out a little more because you really just want the heat shrink to kind of lay right on it. You don't want it to go that far over it because then you're gonna cover the part where it's supposed to kind of connect. So you have it right there. And this is the part where we're gonna be drilling a lot of holes. So you're gonna get a drill. And I don't know the bit. I just basically found one that fits perfectly with these zip ties. So these are 4-inch zip ties, but the drill bit I have is just perfect for going right through it. And you're gonna have basically one that's gonna go here. Well, basically you're gonna drill a hole here. You're gonna drill a hole on this side of the hole, and then on the other side of it, skip one, there. And here's where you're gonna skip one, go here and here, skip one, there and there, skip one, here and here. And again, you're gonna add one hole here and one hole in the end. And as you can see, these are just 4x5, so you just go to the next one, same thing. So you're gonna go to the second one over, drill a hole there, then one there, skip one there, one there, skip one there, one there, that's right in the middle, skip one there and there, skip one there and there. And then while you're doing this, you're gonna wanna go ahead and every time these two connect, so you see that this is a 4x5, this is a 4x5. So every time these connect, you're gonna wanna come here, skip one, so cut a hole there, or drill a hole here and here, skip one here and here, skip one here and here, and then skip one here and here. And you see every time it's jointed, every time they connect, you're gonna do the same thing. So this is the next connection, skip one here and here, 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 and you're gonna go all the way down this thing. So I'm gonna fast forward, oh, and the very end of it, so if you're doing it this way where the flat end's gonna kind of get the bend, it would be on this side, and if you flip it, then that side would get the holes. But you're gonna continue with it all the way to here, so that you can't drill a hole like where it connects on one side and the other. You're just basically gonna drill one hole here, one hole here, one hole here, one hole here, and kind of move the drill bit around just to get it more room, because you're gonna go up. You're basically gonna go up it and then back down it just to kind of hold it in place. And I'll show you more when we get closer to that part. But from here, I'll just kind of do a time lapse because it will take forever, just where I'm drilling the holes. All right, I will be right back. Okay, so once that's done, you're gonna have a 18650 pack, kind of that looks like this. I'll kind of try to go over it, but you can see the two holes, the hole there, then here and here. It's kind of filled in a little bit, but they are there. I accidentally, when I started, already messed up once. But you skip another one and you go here and here. You can kind of see the holes. The plastic might be blocking it a little. There's a good one where you can see it right in the middle. And then you go right there. And then again, do not forget the ones on the end. That comes later. But then you scoot over to here, and you see the two that are there. And you skip one there, skip one. There's two holes and two holes. And it's like that all the way down till you get to the very edge. And then if you can see, the holes are actually a little bigger because one's gonna be coming up and then back down with the zip tie. I'm actually gonna cut the video short there. We're hitting about 30 minutes. So I thought I'd just quickly come back out here, show you that these are actually still testing at what they were. So that's really good, 650, 649. These two probably have a couple loose connections just because I moved them around so much. And then this, I'll turn you around, is just charging one of the packs at 30 amps, getting it ready. But future videos will show basically how I do these plastic. I bend the plastic to fit around it, the heat shrink that goes through it, and then also these little bars, what were they at? These guys that I have to make, it's out of wood and heat shrink, and then the heat shrink that goes in the bars. So those will all be coming up in upcoming videos. If you made it this far, thank you. I hope it wasn't too boring. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe if you want to see what's happening next. And this is still just a work in progress. But all right, thanks guys.